Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to another Nerd Nation stream. Now, yesterday, I'm not sure if you remember, The Boys came out, season 2, and I watched the first 3 episodes, and unfortunately, there wasn't any more episodes to watch after that. I was gagging to binge watch this, and when I realized I could only watch 3, I was a bit gutted. But those 3 were excellent episodes, as far as I was concerned. I'm giving away how I felt about this already. I do apologize. Also with me is my partner in crime, cousin Cheeto. He's also seen the first 3 episodes of The Boys. Hello, cousin Cheeto. How you doing?
I'm here. I'm, ready to go. Talk about The Boys.
The Boys, season 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Now, you do remember season 1, by the way, Roberto?
Yes, I do.
Very good. Now,
Evil Justice League. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. So, basically, this season 2 kind of ends where season 1 left off. Season 1 ended with the death of the girl from Karate Kid. I forgot her name. I do apologize. I did have it, but it's now escaped me. She was like the corporate big figure of the show in season 1, and she was used as a pawn by Billy Butcher to find out more about his wife. And Homelander was supposed to not kill this person, but he did. He killed the person who Billy Butcher thought was his kryptonite. He killed her without a fucking second thought. It was pretty cool. And then Billy Butcher, realizing that he's got no more cards in his hands to hold against Homelander, decides, you know what, I'm going to take you with me, Homelander, and blows himself up. And Homelander saves him, and then also reveals to him that his wife is still alive and that he's had a kid with his wife. And he hasn't seen his wife in 8 years. And that's how season 1 ended. And season 2, sorry, have I revealed something to you?
No.
Okay.
No.
And season 2, which is what we want from a second season, is to pick up exactly where the cliffhanger left off. Well, it kind of didn't. But, things got meshed together to a degree, and we understand what happened to Billy Butcher. He only got to see his wife alive for a second or so before being whisked away. And then when we saw him at the end of episode 1, he was just trying to basically string things together. Now, before we start talking about all the episodes, and I'm sorry for going on about so many things so soon, I do apologize. I just want to ask cousin Cheeto first of all, what do you think of the first 3 episodes of The Boys? Have you enjoyed it so far?
It's kind of the same as season 1 for me. I've said on many occasions that it's just the evil Justice League to me. It's not that I hate it. I think it's very well done. I love Carl Urban in anything almost anything he does.
He's the GOAT, mate. He's the GOAT.
All I hear this season when Dewey, is it Dewey, right? When Dewey talks is I hear Ensign Blemler, because that's the same voice.
Yeah.
So that's all I hear. I do like Frenchie and the other black dude.
Mother's Milk.
Mother's Milk. Okay, I don't know why he's called that, but
no, me neither.
I like them a lot more this season. I feel like their characters are actually getting a little bit more characterization in the first 3 episodes here than like in the entirety. Well, I can't say that because Mother's Milk he had a pretty decent arc in the first season, but I still feel like more I gravitate towards them in these first 3 episodes rather than any of the other characters.
Maybe because you feel like them a little bit.
I guess, I don't know. Homelander, I'm done with him. I'm sorry. I just
really
evil Superman and him and like drinking what's her face's frozen milk. I'm like, God.
But he's fucked in the head, man. We've seen it already from this first season. This guy wasn't brought up right. He's so screwed. He doesn't know anything. It's like having Donald Trump with a cape.
Yeah. Like I want to see that on my screen. I get that in real life.
I I understand, and look, the evil Justice League comparison is fine, and I don't have thing is, I have no problems with these things if it's done right, and that's what I love about The Boys. It's done right. This show is not a kids show. You know, people have been watching superheroes their whole lives, and it's about time that they cater for people who still love superheroes as adults, because most of us are fucking adults, and we should be given something, you know, of that degree. And I'm very happy with this show. This show is dark. It shows superheroes in a light that doesn't make them heroic whatsoever, except for Starlight. She's every bit of a superhero, but even then, she shows in some of the episodes some dark aspects of a character for the overall job to be done. So we're going into episode 1, and as I said, it starts off pretty much where it left off. But we don't see Billy Butcher till the end. What we do get is that the boys are now underground because they're wanted men. Huey, he had no idea how his life was going to ever turn out, but he never expected it to turn out like this. It all started because of the death of his girlfriend. But these guys have to be underground because they are wanted men. And at the same time, Huey realizes that this is his life, and there's no going back from what he's in, and they need to progress with this. But because these guys' faces are scattered all over the obituaries, they can't go into the open, to the outside world without being found out. And a lot of these superheroes have abilities to find them, so they are really fucked. They have to make a deal with an FBI agent who was in the first season, and there was a scene in this which really caught me off guard. I did think something would happen to her, but I wasn't expecting this. There was a moment of the Scanner. Have you seen the film Scanner?
No.
It's about these people with like mental abilities that can make your heads blow up, and and what happened? And what happened to that FBI agent was fantastic. I mean, boom, her head just blows up into little pieces, and you can see Huey's face. He's like screaming, like this guy's all, for the first 3 episodes, he's pretty much covered in blood, this guy. And then they run away. I mean, come on, did you not love that bit? That was a great part of the show.
It was all right.
They didn't
even follow up with any of that.
No, but that's the thing. I don't mind that, because we're talking about a season of television episodes here, and that will hopefully be explained this season.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's just like you got. No, I mean, her head blew up. They ran. That's it. Like, I mean, she apparently was gonna say something she shouldn't have. I don't remember what.
No, but it was about exposing them about the soups as well to some degree. But she was one of their get out clauses, and when she died, they shit themselves. Also, there was another scene in episode 1, which there's a couple of scenes actually, in episode 1 that I liked. There was Daredevil himself, Blind Spot.
Yeah,
brilliant. That was brilliant.
I hated that. I loved it so much.
I loved it.
I thought it was a great character. I'm like, I can get behind this one. Yeah, and then Homelander goes and ruins it. I think I just hate Homelander. Like,
well, he's doing a good job. Yeah.
But it's not like a Chris Jericho. I hate him. It's like a good hate. It's just like he's so just. I just don't want him on every time he's on the screen. I just want to I like Queen Maeve. Whenever Queen Maeve, what little screen time she's had so far this season, I like seeing her on the screen. I liked seeing what's going on with her. Even Starlight, I kind of do like a little bit of how she's kind of taking control of her destiny, and she's becoming more confident in herself. A-Train came back, and I'm like, oh God, not this guy. Like,
no, we'll get to that. So episode 1. He was in episode 2.
But it's just like, oh God, like.
Okay. Like the opening scene as well, which was pretty cool, with Translutant's funeral.
That I thought was
hilarious.
Pretty when there was nothing in the
baby
box.
Pictures. Yeah. They're holding these clothes.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I was laughing so much. Oh god, that's what I love about this show. They really know how to make those fucked up things funny. And I love it. I love it for that. You know, but then we get down to some sort of more serious moments when we finally had that discussion between the new top exec, whose name I've forgotten, but I'm going to call him Gus because that's who he was in Breaking Bad, and you know, Moff Gideon as well, in Star Wars, Mandalorian.
Carlo Esposito.
Yes, but I'm going to call him Gus.
Okay.
So Gus and Homelander, they have their chat because you know Homelander is going to have a chat with this guy, and it was a battle of wits because Homelander, you know, put his flag down and said, you know what, I'm in charge of the 7. I make you guys a fuck ton of money, yeah. So respect me, treat me as one of your equals, and inform me on everything.
No,
then,
he just wants control, and he
no,
had that.
Yeah, mate, the guy's got control.
He had that with what's her face, but like, you know, she just, you know, and now that she's gone,
Yeah.
Carlo Esposito, which don't take crap from nobody.
No, I need to quickly go back that we got introduced to a new character called Stormfront, which wasn't somebody recommended to Homelander because Homelander got really pissed off with his not agent, with his assistant, when he was offered blind spot when he slapped him in the head and made his ears bleed everywhere and said to me, "Why the fuck are you giving me cripples?" So he wanted to make sure that he was always informed from that moment.
Honestly,
okay?
I feel like Blind Spot should have like been able to avoid him and not. That's the thing. It's like, yeah.
If he put his hands there, then his hands would have gone whack, and he would have had his own hands. The only way he would have avoided him was by not blocking, but just to duck or whatever.
That's what I mean. Like,
but we're talking a superhuman being, we're talking like a Superman type of guy. Maybe even someone like Daredevil wouldn't be as quick, if you know what I mean. I mean, would Daredevil be able to avoid someone that fast?
Probably not. Yeah. But it just as I said, Homelander just annoys me.
Anyway, so he has he stuck his flag in the ground. And he said, "Okay, I make you a fuck ton of money. You know, I want to be informed on everything. You can't be sending this person called Stormfront in there without telling me. I need to know these things. You know, I'm the leader of the 7." And then Gus said to him, "Listen, mate, you fuck things up. Yeah, you're the one trashing the whole goddamn city. You're the one who unleashed COVID-19, Compound V or whatever the fuck."
Yes. They released COVID-19. There we go.
I should call it COVID-19. Anyway,
there we go.
Yeah, was it COVID 5 or version 5 or fucking Matt Hardy or whatever? Nevertheless, he spread that shit all over the world because he wanted to create super villains, super terrorists for the 7 to go up against, you know, and make money through selling arms and stuff like that as well. And but because he's actually started a shitstorm because he's done all this and he's kind of exposed the company to certain things and they've had to clean up all his mess, he's basically telling Homelander, "Listen, you fuck things up for us, and we're the ones who always have to fucking sort it out for you. So we ain't telling you shit. You want to keep fucking things up, fine, fuck things up, but don't tell us what to do because we'll be the ones always having to clean up after you regardless." And it kind of put Homelander in his place, and he walked out with his tail between his legs. I mean, he could have killed Gus there and then. He's got the power to him. For Gus to have such a moment with him and to come out of it alive, regardless of his position, was quite amazing. And to see Homelander walk away like that, it shows that he's still got a lot to learn. You know, he might be super strong, but he's not super smart. He is very smart, but he's not super smart. Oh, Ginger Greek is ill. No, unfortunately. Anyway, sorry, I kind of got lost track there by my Facebook Messenger. So that was also another good scene from the boys and from episode 1 alone. And then at the end of episode 1, we finally get Billy Butcher coming back. You know, where the fuck has he been? We haven't really seen much about him, but he gets back and he puts down a piece of paper and he's got some words written in crayon. And that was the end of episode 1. Amazing start to episode 1. Bloody loved it. Very memorable scenes. New characters coming in. A lot of shit kicking off straight off the bat. And Homelander front and center, who's absolutely terrifying because you just don't know when he's going to snap. and he comes across as so charming at the same time, and people believe in his shit. But anyways, episode 2.
Can I talk about Stormfront really quick before we move on?
Please.
Another one I hate. I thought she was okay in the first episode, but as the whole millennial,
She's full of shit, dude.
Yeah,
she's full of shit.
The whole millennial, I'm a rebel, I'm a whatever. But and we'll get into this in episode 3. But then she gets her jollies just same as Homelander, out of the freaky stuff. It's like, oh god.
The makers of this show are really fucking weird as well, because Stormfront is a Nazi, by the way. They kind of switched. It used to be in the boys' comics. Stormfront was a male character. He's a bit like an evil version of Captain America from Germany.
No,
in a sense, but he was frozen in time, and they refound him, and some shit like that. But they made him join their side, but he was still a racist. He was part of the bad guy side, but they made him join the good guy side. Made him part of the 7, but this person was still a racist and looked at people who were not white as beneath him. Now they've switched on it, and they made this sort of feminazi, pretty much. I mean, they've actually used the term perfectly with this particular person, because this person comes across as a cool, rebellious person, maybe like a triple X sort of character, Vin Diesel female version. You know what I mean? I'm hip, I'm cool, but I'm not part of the system, man, and stuff like that. And then I'll get onto her later. I want to talk about that in episode 3, but I want to go back to episode 2. Oh, by the way, the actress who plays Stormfront, she's Jewish in real life. That's why they're so fucked up. Anyways, in episode 2, we start off with Billy Butcher. He looks at these things he's written down on crayon on a piece of paper. We have no idea what the fuck it's about, but then we get it explained, because for that brief moment where he saw his wife was alive and he saw that Homelander's had a son with his wife, he tried to remember everything he saw around him, everything. And then he wrote it in. As soon as he got transported to another part of America, he just quickly ran into a shop and just tried to write everything down, because he didn't want to forget where his wife is located, and just use everything he could to remember that location. That was pretty cool. And then he gets back with the boys, and it was Frenchie who was the one who got hold of Billy Butcher to come back, because Frenchie wasn't sure about Huey being a decent leader, and they want a decent leader, and so they get Billy Butcher, and then they get involved in an incident where they have to bring this terrorist, this super terrorist, who's come on a boat and stuff like that, who's got Jean Grey sort of powers. It's telekinesis. Yeah, telekinesis. So they have to, if they get this person, Mother's Milk will get his family back. They'll get their fucking lives back and shit like that. That's the sort of deal they're making. So they go get this person. They go looking for this person, and there's a scene in the shop. I think you find out it's Camino's brother. Now I'm not sure if I'm forgetting anything in episode 2. I think we get more Homelander development in episode 2. Also, yes, we find out that there's a guy who gets his limbs chopped off. So, and people pay money for that because they're crazy fuckers, and he's even he'll offer $1,000 for people to chop his dick off, which is pretty cool as well. But his body parts grow back, and he gets experimented on by pharmaceutical companies because he doesn't get hurt. But Starfire uses her. Is it Starfire or Starlight? Starlight. Isn't it? Yeah, my bad. Starlight, who's working with the boys, uses him because he's a lab rat at Vought Industries, uses him to get some of that COVID-19. And I don't know what the fuck it's called. Version 5 or what
Compound V.
Compound V, yeah. COVID-19 sounds so much better. Anyways, she blackmails him. He does it. And then we get to see A-Train come back.
Ugh.
Now, A-Train was out last season because he was addicted to Compound V, and he OD'd or had a fucking withdrawal attack or some shit like that. And he was on He had a heart attack.
Yeah, that was at the end of the season.
Yeah, because he was such an addict.
You mean in the first episode? You said the first season. That's why I got confused.
Okay. But yeah, when we see him come back, like he knows who Starlight is, and she knows that she's a traitorous person, far he's concerned. At the same time, he's keeping his cards close to his chest, and they have a moment, him and A-Train and Starlight, where she calls his bluff regarding certain things. I don't know why A-Train was keeping his mouth shut. He should have just revealed everything to her, but he didn't, because he would have been revealed that he was a drug addict and stuff like that. And anyways, the point is that A-Train lost his opportunity maybe to out Starlight, and because he hasn't, he now looks like an accomplice. So he now has to keep his mouth shut, even though he doesn't like Starlight. And he knows about Compound V, he knows about certain things, but he was the person who murdered his girlfriend, so he kind of fucked as well on that department. There's so much shit. Sorry for going on, Roberto. Anything you want to add in episode 2?
No, I mean, as I said, season 1 was fine for me. Season 2 is going right up that alley. The same. I mean, I'll probably watch it, but it's not like this is not everyone. This is not groundbreaking for me. This is more just like, okay, they're making a very trendy, well-written show. Just because it's well-written doesn't mean I have to like it. You know what I mean? Like, some people will say that I hate it, and I don't hate it. Like, it's good. It's well done. It's well-written. It's just not my cup of tea. Like, the Evil Justice League has never been my cup of tea.
Yeah, but if it was genuinely Evil Justice League, the actual Justice League, all right, but this is so brilliant. Like, there's nothing out there like this. There is genuinely nothing out there like this when it comes to all the superhero stuff. People thought that stuff like Marvel and stuff was grounding it in reality. This really is. I don't think these superheroes necessarily would be so corporatized, because these guys are gods. Homelander is a god. He could take on the whole fucking world if he wanted to. So, so the evil Superman is a lot better version of Homelander when it comes to that, because evil Superman didn't listen to anybody. He basically took over Earth, and Homelander isn't. He's still going to be quite diplomatic in a way. He's playing this sort of political game, which is unusual, but he should just fucking take over if he wanted to. But he wants people to love him at the same time. He likes people kissing his ass, hence the Donald Trump comparisons. Anyways, episode 3. So in episode 3, they capture obviously Kamino's brother, and Kamino helps the boys capture her brother, who's this guy with telekinesis power, and they're going to deliver him. And there's a couple of memorable scenes in episode 3. Some really memorable fucking scenes in episode 3. First one is when like a Coast Guard helicopter finds them and tells them that they have to go back to shore and stuff like that, and then the Kamino telekinesis brother comes out and just fucking force pushes that goddamn helicopter into the ocean. And I love Billy Butcher's like response. Okay, let's go. Just like, let's go. And that was just so brilliant, his response. I love that. And then they shoot off, and then oh my god, this whole time I forgot about the Deep. The bloody Deep.
The Deep. Ugh.
Okay, we're going to get back to the Deep in this particular moment, but we need to talk about the Deep now. The Deep's arc so far is fantastic. I love it. Yeah, he meets Hawkeye for a start, who realizes that he's down and out, and Hawkeye helps him. His name is Eagle Archer or some shit like that.
Eagle Eye, I think.
Eagle Eye. Yeah, obviously he's definitely a play on Hawkeye more than Green Arrow, without a doubt. And then he helps him to like
get up, cult or something like that.
Yeah. You realize that they're part of a sort of like superhero sort of church cult.
And I love how I love how the Hawkeye character is based out of Cleveland, because the Deep is in Sandusky, which is all closely related to me.
I have no idea, but nevertheless, they there's this thing with this drink called Fresca. Like, I don't know what the fuck it is. I think we get it in this country, but I'm not that interested in it. But yeah, he gets the Fresca, and then this woman who says she's not a therapist, but pretty much acts like one, gives him a Fresca, and then later on, Eagle Eye brings a few more Frescas, a few 6-packs. I don't know where that's going. Maybe later on we'll find out. But I
think it's product placement, honestly.
Oh, I think there's something to it, mate. It's product placement. No, without doubt, it's product placement. But there's a method to this product placement to make the story. Personally, they should have come up with a fictional drink. Nevertheless, we're seeing what's happening to the Deep now. He's very embarrassed about his gills. That's why he never likes to take his shirt off and stuff like that, because he's worried that they look hideous and stuff like that. And he gets given an hallucinogenic, and his gills starts talking like Patton Oswalt, because Patton Oswalt voiced those gills. And they start talking to him. He's hallucinating. He even falls asleep, wakes up, and he's still hallucinating. And he's basically having to come to the terms that he has these gills, and they're a part of him, and he should accept them for what they are, and he does. And then that particular church says, okay, you've woken up now. You realize that you can accept yourself for who you are. Now go be part of the 7, because they want him to be involved in the 7, because that means I have a member of their church in the 7. I know that for sure. That's how I feel about that. But this whole sort of almost redemption arc we're kind of getting with the Deep in a weird way, a weird sort of redemption arc. How are you finding it so far with him and this cult and his talking gills and all that shit?
Yeah, I was out at the Talking Gills. I was like, I'm out.
That was hilarious, man. That was hilarious.
No,
Patton Oswalt talking gills, man.
I love Patton Oswalt, but it's just like the Talking Gills and stuff. It's like, oh gosh, and it went on for so long. This was longer than one of our podcasts. This went on.
I have to admit, yeah, it did go on just a little bit. I do agree.
I was sitting there just going, when will this end? Like, I get it. He's coming to terms with his gills, and then we find out later in episode 3 that it all stems from Homelander, calling his gills disgusting and everything. Because apparently he probably looks up to Homelander, which I don't know why anyone would. But
yep. But yeah, so we've got this really interesting arc so far. I don't know where it's going to lead with the Deep, but he is becoming an interesting joke character in this show, because he's a joke character with an arc, and he tries to stop Billy Butcher and their boys when after the incident with the telekinesis helicopter crash, and he brings out all his fish friends. Sharks are coming after them. He's got a whale and stuff like that, and Billy Butcher's a good shot, by the way. He's shooting all those sharks and stuff, and they're reaching the shoreline now, but they know if they get to the shoreline, and the Deep is a little bit easier to deal with. But the Deep's got other plans in mind. He gets a whale to beach itself right onto the shoreline. And then we get the best scene in the season so far. Just thinking about it. It's making me laugh. Oh god. They go full on kamikaze and fuck this. We're gonna ram that whale, and they did, and they rammed that whale, and they killed the whale. They torpedoed themselves right into it with their boat, and they burst the whale open, and they land on the inside of the whale, and they're covered in whale blood and whale bits and whale blubber and all that shit. I'm dying. It's so funny. Oh my god. I never laughed so much in my fucking life. I was dying when I saw that. Just thinking about it is making me want to die again. It was absolutely hilarious seeing that scene, for them to create that scene. There's no fucks given in this show, man. I mean, this show takes the piss out of so many things. He's taking the piss out of, like, when it came to, like, inclusion and stuff like that, having, girl power and female characters and ethnic minority, and what's even better if the person's not only an ethnic minority but also a female. him taking the piss, the inclusion thing about having a blind superhero, but the way he was treated, it's just brilliant. There was many memorable moments, and also the Deep as well. Like when he found out that they that he was part of an experiment because the COVID-19 was released to the press. What's it called again? Version 5?
Compound
V. Okay, Compound V was released to the press, which is one of the reasons why those guys were on the run in the first place. And he remember the Deep. He was talking about how he was a kid and he had walking past those goldfish and they were crying in agony, and he was going to Red Lobster. So much he was so upset every time you go to Red Lobster and you could hear all the animals screaming and stuff. And it's supposed to be so traumatic, but it's hilarious. You know what I mean? When you're hearing all this stuff, it's just fantastic. I'm so sorry for going all over the place, but there's a certain things I should have mentioned earlier. I totally forgot, and I'm glad I mentioned them now. Anyway, the Deep is really upset that his fucking whale's being killed. He's totally traumatized over it. The boys got run away, covered in blood and stuff like that, and they go through these storm drains, and now the Seven are all after them. We've got Homelander, we've got Stormfront, we've got Starlight, who's undercover basically. We've got Black Noir. They're all after him. And these guys are running away, and eventually Jack gets caught and by Homelander and Starlight to a degree. And Homelander demands Starlight to kill him because Homelander knows that Starlight and Huey has a sort of connection, and Starlight hesitates, and eventually Billy Butcher gets involved and gets the telekinesis guy to drop a truck from above onto Homelander, which will only stop him very briefly, and then those guys got the fuck out of there. What do you think of all of that? The whale, the fucking storm drain scenes, the chase in the ocean, the fucking telekinesis pushing the helicopter. What do you think of all of that?
Well, I can tell you that I hated the dolphin scene in season 1, so you can take a wild guess. You can take a wild guess as to how I feel about the whale scene. No, that was another part that I was just like, okay. As I said, y'all get your jollies, but no, it did nothing for me.
I funny. I was dying.
No,
it was so funny.
Didn't resonate with me at all, and I knew it was coming because I knew it was coming because I saw it in the trailer or whatever. There was a clip or something like that, so I knew it was coming. But I'm like, no, it didn't resonate with me at all. The other thing was the storm drains were fine. I mean, kind of like a cat and mouse game with, you have A-Train having more heart issues or whatever he's got going on.
Oh yeah, he had a fucking cardiac arrest or some shit like that.
I did like the scene with Starlight and Homelander and Huey. I honestly thought that they might kill Huey at that point. I don't know why, but I was thinking to myself, Homelander, like Starlight wouldn't do it, but I thought maybe Homelander might. Just like it'd be one of those shock moments that they try to have. And then he killed, then Huey gets killed, but I mean, he is kind of the heart of the thing.
Yeah. I think if anyone's dying, it's Frenchie or Mother's Milk.
No, well, no, but here's the thing. I feel like that Huey's kind of completed his arc. They got the Compound V out there.
No, his arc is with Starlight.
Yeah, but I know, but I'm saying, like, I feel like Huey's arc, at least in that regard, is complete. Like, that's why I thought maybe they would, but they didn't. Telekinesis guy, dropped a train on Homelander. Took him forever to get out of there, by the way. So not much of a Superman, in my opinion.
I don't think he's ever been attacked like that.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. And I don't know. I mean, it was good. The chase with, the brother and sister was okay. This is. I mean, it getting into the Stormfront territory of it all.
Yeah, this is I've been dying to talk about.
I mean, Stormfront. She's just like she just encapsulate an entitled millennial that just thinks she can do whatever she wants, and it's just like, again, I hate it. Like I get where they're going. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just that's why this show does not resonate with me at all. I love a lot of the actors in this show, and I'm not like hate watching it either. You know what I mean? Like there are genuinely good. I hate to sound like I'm trashing on it, but there are genuinely good points in this show and good parts in this show for sure. But there are just things like the things that they do that are just malicious for laughs. That stuff does not resonate with me at all. Like and going
it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame, but I love that shit.
And I mean, it's like in the first episode when, like, what's the shadow guy name? Noir.
Black Noir.
Yeah, Black Noir. He's like walking around with the dude's head, and then he's like doing the little thing with the kid and the bunny rabbit and stuff like that. And I'm like, why did we stop for this? Like,
because that's what these guys are. They're psychopaths. You got to understand that these are not good people. They're not pretending to. They're not like conflicted people.
Neither are the good guys.
Yeah, exactly. Look. There are people who are in that grey area. I would say Queen May is in that grey area for sure. She's kind of been twisted a little bit, but then you've got Starlight, who is, but without that, Black Noir nutcase, Homelander nutcase, the Deep to a degree when he first is a nutcase actually.
He's still a nutcase.
A-Train is an asshole. These are
Stormfront definitely. I mean, she went from tolerable to just despicable in no time flat with me.
I had no idea this was, but she's basically somebody who either is pretending to be some sort of social media sensation for the sake of an image, but in real life absolutely despises anyone who's not white, because that is genuinely who Stormfront is. Somebody who's a racist. And we saw that after she killed Kamina's brother.
What'd she call him, yellow or something like that?
Yeah, called him that. Called him a yellow bastard.
Yeah, something like that. So I mean that obviously is going to be in there.
Yeah, exactly. So she is a racist, and this persona of her being a social media sensation is kind of weird. Is it a genuine persona where she's like maybe a bit of a sociopath? The 1 minute she's like this, and next minute she wants to kill anybody who doesn't look like her. You know what I mean? Is she undercover where she's just pretending to be like this when in real life she is a nutcase and she just wants to kill everyone who doesn't look like her? Who knows? Maybe there's a gray area. I don't know. But it'll be interesting to find out. But the way she just was just recklessly killing people, she just blew the shit out of that house, that black family. She just like knocked back. I'm thinking, why is she doing that? And then I started realizing, yeah, she's a racist. Destroyed that whole house without even the second thought, that whole apartment block. Killing all those people and so many innocent people just to get that Kamina's brother. And then what she does to his hands was amazing. That was amazing. Breaking his hands and then like breaking his neck and then calling him a yellow bastard. I couldn't believe it. It was like, wow. It was almost like a reveal of who she really was at that moment. I mean, reckless at one point, I thought, but I'm really looking forward to seeing more Stormfront's character. I'm really looking forward to it.
Here's the thing that I want, and I know it's very, what is it, milquetoast or marky of me. I was hoping this season that we would see the boys start to recruit supers on their side to eventually help fight the Seven. I mean, I know that's like a good team for, a good superhero, good team versus bad team thing, that it's typical, but that's what I want to see. That's what I was hoping for. Cause I thought they were recruiting, Kaminako's brother, and then they would have Kaminako and then they would find other people, other supers that have decent powers. Plus they would have Starlight. And I thought that they were going to develop their own version of the Seven.
Yeah.
And then
nobody wants to go up against Homelander, and there's nobody.
But that's the thing, though. They would have to find some way to neutralize Homelander. And I think they would, because I think maybe his son would eventually,
I think his son will definitely play a part. Some people there are rumors regarding the son saying that there still could be Bully Butcher's son, but who's been given COVID-19.
I think eventually he's going to kill his son because he's that deranged. His son will not conform to him, so he will kill his son. I'm almost 99% sure of that. That he is so deranged that he will get frustrated with it. Because remember, they said, well, eventually he'll get bored, and go away. When they were talking to the mom, the doctor was talking to the mom. And I think what he's going to get so frustrated that his son does not, because I mean, at the end of the third episode, his son's like, or at the end of the second episode, whichever, he's like, go away, I hate you, I don't want to see you anymore, and he's going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and his son's not going to want to have anything to do with him. And of course, Homelander has to get his way, so he will eventually kill his son, and he may even kill Butcher's wife.
That is a possibility as well. It'd be interesting. I don't even know if he'll be able to get away with killing his son. There are some things I do know about Homelander, which I don't want to spoil for you, but I know from the comics. I'm not sure if they're going to follow that.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any kids in the comics, right?
Would you like me to tell you what happens in the comics regarding Homelander?
Oh, I don't care. Yeah, go ahead. I don't care.
I think Black Noir is a clone of Homelander.
Really?
Yeah. And Black Noir kills Homelander. Because Homelander's become reckless and out of control, and Black Noir has always been that stabling. He's always been that, even though he doesn't speak, he's always been that sense of calm and stability, to a degree, when you're around him, because he's so silent, and he's basically like Snake Eyes from fucking G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that sense. And
he doesn't have any of Homelander's powers, though.
He does.
He just doesn't use them.
He just doesn't use them, or I don't know exactly how it. This is what I'm getting at, though. The point is that he kills Homelander because he's just like Homelander, so he's able to kill Homelander, and then he basically takes over as Homelander, as a new Homelander.
Oh God, that just sounds awful.
That is whether they see. I already know this, and I'm not sure if they're going to fulfill this twist. But they have followed certain things in the comic, like that scene where they kill the terrorists and stuff. That's happened in the comics at the beginning of episode 1. And that bit where he's with the toy and stuff like that. He kills that kid too in the comics.
I knew that. I heard that. Like I heard that he had. Yeah. As I said, Black Noir. I know Black Noir is way worse in the comics than he is in the show.
He's a fucking nutcase, man. He's a fucking nutcase. But the fact that he's a secret agent for Vought, yeah, he's the undercover guy. In case, he properly works for the establishment, and he's undercover for them, amongst the 7. Because they don't want Homelander taking over, because he can easily do that. The 7 want, they can turn on Vought in a heartbeat. But it was interesting to show in the show that these guys are on contracts. Like that matters to someone like fucking Homelander. He's on a contract nevertheless, yeah. And his contract's apparently coming to an end. And
so, he said next year.
And stuff like that. So, but it was interesting with his conversation with Gus, that Gus was saying that we're not a superhero company, we're a pharmaceutical company. Which is also interesting.
Well, I mean, welcome to the world of evil.
Well, we were 3 episodes in, and I've loved every moment. I've loved this dark comedy, brutality, and honest assessment of what a lot of people are and what a lot of people with these powers might be like. I've never, like I said, the corporate side of this is way more than it should be, because I think these guys would be more in charge than letting other people ever take control of them, especially somebody like Homelander did exist in this universe, in this world. I can never see him taking control of anybody, even if they had the upper foot on him morally or the high ground on them regarding their wits. He would still kill them. Like, fuck you, I'll take over anyway. You know, I'm more powerful than you. I can do that. I mean, just, you know what I mean? So I'm surprised Gus survived that in encounter regardless. But I do love where this show is going so far. It's much better than the first season. I do feel, you think Frenchie and Mother's Milk have had a lot of development. I think they've had the least amount of development out of all the characters. You don't know where they're going. You don't know what the fuck Frenchie's got nothing other than the fact that he wants to take care of Camino. And Mother's Milk.
No, they've also come around to Huey too. And they're actually starting to stand up to Butcher.
No, yeah, but I'm just saying personally, like there's no real art, there's no real something for for Frenchie. There's no real narrative for Frenchie. What he's doing, he's not doing his own thing like all the others have got certain things going for them. He hasn't. Camina's got her brother. You know, Huey's still got this thing with Starlight. Butcher's got his thing with Homelander and his wife. Those two, their thing, I don't know what the fuck they are. Mother's Milk's wants to get back to his family, and you hear a little bit about his daughter playing soccer and shit like that. But you don't really get much more than that. He's just with them because he's got no choice. Same with Frenchie, but there's no real more than that. Frenchie trying to learn maybe the sign language of Camino, but yeah, that's really it. Yeah, there's not much more. But everyone else has got lots of arcs. It's interesting. Queen May and her and a lesbian lover being in the closet. Somebody mentioned that it's 2020 now. Even things like that. You know,
I don't think she's really in the closet. I think it's just.
Sorry, no, not in the closet. I take that back.
I mean, she just doesn't want Homelander to know about her.
Keeping her relationship in the closet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want anybody to know about it, but yeah, I guess Homelander finding out would be the reason why. Actually, I'll take that back. Yeah, Homelander finding out is the reason why, because he kills everything, every person around her. Queen May's storyline with her ex-girlfriend is interesting. I think the ex-girlfriend is dead without a doubt. What do you think? There's an expendable right there. Ex-girlfriend dead. Queen May's ex-girlfriend.
I mean, I can see Queen Maeve in this season turning on the 7.
I can see Queen May dying this season.
I mean, I think so too. She's really, I mean, they've really relegated her to a supporting role, whereas I feel like in the first half of the first season, she was actually a frontline character. Now I feel like she's just a support character. Like she's got 3 scenes. She's got the one with her girlfriend where she ran off. She's got the one where she was with the other 2 girls in the 7 because they have never had 3 females in the 7 before, and then the scene with her and Homelander when Homelander finds out about what's her face. Like those are literally, and maybe her sitting at the table during the meeting with Carlo Esposito, but those are the only scenes she's really in, and that's sad because I liked Queen Maeve in season 1, and I was hoping she would go somewhere in season 1, and it really didn't go very far at all, especially after that airplane scene in season 1.
Yeah,
like I thought that was.
That has changed, though, in my opinion.
It has, but at the same time, it hasn't. It's a slow burn for that character change.
I like it, though. I like it. Like, here's a girl who was a lot like Starlight when she first came into the 7 or came into being a superhero, but then got kind of, unfortunately, lost in this corporate world that she was in, and her head was turned, and obviously she was then hooked up with Homelander, and like I said, she lost her way, and then she kind of remembered a little bit with the plane crash, because there's no way she wanted that to happen. You know, she's too much of a human being to want that to happen. You know,
what is she? I mean, I know
they're all human beings. They're all human beings with superpowers.
So she's not anything special though, like Amazonian or I mean,
it's a gimmick.
So that's just the gimmick. Is the Xena warrior princess look is just a gimmick? It's
a gimmick.
So what's her power? Is she just strong and can fly? No, she can't fly.
She's very strong.
Okay, which is fine. I never knew what her shtick was because it's just like what are you? Yeah, I mean basically, yeah.
She's Wonder Woman, man, in every sense. You can see the comparisons, you know, like, and sometimes like some of the characters are a mesh of characters. I mean, look, Black Noir is Batman. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, that I know, yeah.
You know, and Starlight could be Starfire, I guess. Well, Starfire's a very hopeful person
Yeah.
in the cartoons. Maybe not in this. In the only, I mean, she's the first ever live adaptation of her on Teen Titans. Sorry, on Titans is a bit different. But in the cartoon, she's always a very uplifting, hopeful girl. And
Yeah.
Starlight reminds me of that. And they've got similar powers, you know, burning and stuff. So.
All right, you ready to move on to John Boyega? We're 50 minutes in.
Yeah, I do understand. But overall, first 3 episodes, do love it. I'm going to watch the whole season. How about you?
I mean, I'll watch the whole season. I mean, as I said, I'm being a little bit, critical on it, but
How's Megan liking it?
Huh?
Megan liking it?
She's not watching it. No.
She would love it.
I don't think she would.
No?
No, she doesn't like the blood. She doesn't like the main.
What? But she plays bloody horror video games.
She doesn't. Look, I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, I've asked her if she wanted to watch it, and she said no. So
fair enough, mate. Fair enough.
She's got better things to do in the real life, I guess. Whatever that is.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, let's go on to John Boyega.
All right.
You ready to talk about that?
Watching part 2.
Okay. I just wanted to bring this up because I found this topic to be very interesting. John Boyega gave an interview on British GQ magazine regarding his time on Star Wars. I haven't got any quotes from him. I do apologize. But he wasn't very happy when it came to Star Wars and the development of Star Wars. He's got nothing really against J.J. Abrams, but he's pissed off with how the first, when I say first, I mean the first film of the sequels, Force Awakens, was marketed. Because if you remember, Roberto, when we saw the trailers for Force Awakens, they were quite mainly based around Finn. Here's this guy who's a stormtrooper, and later on in the trailers, we see him with a lightsaber. And when you think about it, it's quite a cool original Star Wars story that they really missed out on, of a stormtrooper who becomes a Jedi Knight. They've really, in my opinion, missed a trick with this, because that in itself sounds like a very good story, a stormtrooper becoming a Jedi Knight. I mean, do you like the sound of that, Roberto?
I didn't mind it too much. I mean, it was a typical bait and switch. I don't think it was like I mean, it was a bait and switch, but I think that's just how they planned on doing it the entire time.
I think it was a disgrace. I really do. I'm really pissed off on it because.
But nobody's mad about it until now. Like that's what I don't get. Nobody.
I was mad about it back then, and we're bringing it up again because he's obviously mad about it himself, and he's being very honest about it, because before, until he spoke up about it, and he was embargoed. He wasn't able to say shit. Embargo's gone. He's now speaking his mind, and I can totally understand where he's coming from, because in my opinion, you can't be marketing a film one particular way and then giving us something else. Here's this young black guy who you're marketing front and center. You want to get a particular audience. You're saying you're going with the diversity, and this is what pisses me off about certain groups. Because people call me a lefty, a liberal, a progressive, and shit like that. But when organizations are supposed to be representing us, they don't. They just pretend to. They're just being part of the fucking status quo, and they're only pretending to give us what we want, and they give us something else. Here we got a character called Finn, where he's been marketed a particular way, and his character fucking goes nowhere in the first episode. But it is the first episode. We might not have got what we wanted initially, but there is a chance for Finn to go somewhere in episode 2 or episode 8 in the Last Jedi. But it didn't. Episode 8 was a really good chance to set up Finn for something which he never got set up for. He became less than a supporting character, almost a forgotten character. Rian Johnson joked that he was thinking about keeping Finn in a coma for the whole episode because he didn't know what to do with him. I mean, that's the bastard thing about it. And a lot. There are some people I know who say that John Boyega should shut his mouth and stuff like that. But what John Boyega is saying, regardless of how you take it upon as racism, is true regarding the story. Like there's this interesting character we got now. This is not a Lando guy here. We got one of the main characters, and you've done nothing with him. And all your focus is on Daisy Ridley. All your focus is on Adam Driver. But when it comes to people like Finn, nothing. You've got Oscar Isaac's character, nothing. I mean, he was hardly in there in the first episode. You just don't know what to fucking do with these people. They're all winging it as they're making it, and you saw it in it. And the marketing as well for Finn's character. You saw the posters. You saw the American poster of him holding a lightsaber. He looks like a fucking Jedi. That's your marketing, for fuck's sake. And then the poster, obviously, of him in China. He's tiny ass. You can barely fucking see him. They shrunk him down. Why him? Out of all the people, it's fucking racist, mate. It's beyond racist. I feel for him. I know where he's coming from to a degree. I don't agree with everything he says, but I know where he's coming from. These are despicable things by Disney, and they want to come across as equal when it comes to a lot of things, but they're not. When they do shit like this, what the fuck? Even the character of Rose, where was she going? What was going on with Rose? There was nothing before her. Like they're just so focused on Adam and Daisy that the entire cast got totally forgotten about. There was nothing. There was no moment of like being frozen in carbonite like there was for Han Solo. There was nothing like that. For Finn, memorable moments. It's just so poorly done, and I really feel for John Boyega. I think he's been given a bum rap by Disney, and that's what like Disney also told people like to what clothes to wear at particular cinema events for the Star Wars movies. I think during Force Awakens he wore traditional Nigerian garb, just like purple outfit with a hat and stuff. And he did that as a fuck you to Disney because he didn't want to be told what to wear. So these are the people you're dealing with. Every time you hear about Disney, they just sound worse and worse and worse. It's so upsetting. They've got such massive franchises, that we have to watch these people, prostitute it to us in a particular way, claim certain things and not to be certain things, bait and switch us on things they shouldn't fucking bait and switch us on. Giving Ryan Johnson the reins on something and totally fucking ruining it. He did, man. I can totally understand why John Boyega is so pissed off. I don't know if you've got anything more to add.
Not really. I mean, do I think that his character was underutilized? Absolutely. But that's what happens when you're jumping between directors and neither of them know. I think they tried to do something with John Boyega in the third movie, but there just wasn't time because they should have split. Yeah. And I've said this many times because they should have split the third movie into two parts. I know we don't want an episode 9 and an episode 10, but in order to do triage and to give all the characters I think John Boyega would have had more of a role if there was enough time. And 2 movies would have given them enough time to flesh out Finn's character arc, which got totally
he should have been a fucking Jedi. He should have been a Jedi. Finn.
No, I think here's the thing. I don't mind him being force sensitive. He doesn't need to be a Jedi. Maybe he could learn. I mean, yeah, maybe in episode 9 and 10, he could have been learning the ways of the Force and maybe had maybe he could have been in his training, or something. But I mean, I don't disagree with them having Rey as the primary Jedi, like the Luke Skywalker.
If I could rewrite this shit, there'll be no need for Rey. Yeah, just get Rey out of the picture. You've got fucking Finn as a stormtrooper who defects after seeing some brutal carnage, and he goes on a fucking run, and then he meets Luke Skywalker or something. I don't know, and just learns the way of the Force. He finds out he's Force sensitive and wants to be a better person. Somebody who's brought up, on terrible things, and I just like that. That just seems so different, original enough, but yet Star Warsy enough
Yeah,
fit,
and
you know what I
I'm
mean?
not saying that's a bad idea, Zam. I'm
Yeah,
not saying that's a bad idea at all. If the roles were reversed and John Boyega or Finn was the Jedi and Rey was the Force sensitive person, I wouldn't care. If their entire roles were reversed, I wouldn't care. I just didn't
no,
mind the way they did it with Finn being Force sensitive. I just don't think they gave enough time for Finn's character arc to be fleshed out, and that's and I mean I get it. I get why he's frustrated because it's kind of like Mark Hamill. It's like he got very frustrated with the way they portrayed Luke
mhm.
Skywalker in The Last Jedi, but he couldn't do anything about it because obviously you're a paid actor.
Yeah, but he had enough
Although
clout. He had enough brass, and he had enough. He was higher up the tier to be able to say something without too much repercussions. Probably they knew his character was being killed off, and they would require him. And you can't. I mean, he's pretty much fucking Star Wars, Mark Hamill. So
mhm.
so they were stuck with if you wanted to say shit, they couldn't fucking do anything about it. Um, because they need Mark Hamill. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I just like going back to what we said earlier regarding the marketing for the third film. It's not when you're getting a whole bunch of people expecting one particular thing and you switch it to such a degree that that the person you thought was going to be one of the main characters ends up being a supporting character at best. But Boyega should not only have been Boyega should have been like one of the main leads of the film, and from Last Jedi onwards, he was a supporting cast. He was a supporting character.
Well, and I think why they went the Rey route is because they wanted to have a female lead character.
That's Kathleen Kennedy right there. Now I have no problem with that at all, but they never marketed that. You know what I mean? And that's my only issue with Rey being a Jedi and not Finn, because I wasn't expecting that, and I just feel like it's a disservice to some into getting people to watch this, because you told a whole bunch of people who are not white, who always see white people in these particular roles, that yeah, we're going to put a black person in this role, and it never fucking materialized. It never materialized at all. This is why I think that Black Panther is the way it is, because it did fucking materialize more than ever. This we're talking about a black superhero who wasn't a fucking sidekick. He wasn't some fucking guy from the streets who ended up turning his shit around. He was a good person from the get-go. He was regal, everything. It can be done, but they didn't want to fucking do it. Kathleen Kennedy wanted a version of herself in Rey. That's what she wanted. This is me, Rey, and nobody's ever going to surpass me. I'm the best person here. That's why we're going to kill Marie Tran to look like she does, because we don't want somebody looking hotter than Rey. It's
Well, that's probably why they put the mask on. What's her face? The one lady, and she never took it off. Remember the lady that was Oscar Isaac's like main squeeze? Like she had that
yeah,
mask on, and she never took it off. I don't think.
yeah. She never took
And
it off
I think
once.
she's very attractive when when you take
Yeah,
the mask off.
and
If
she's
I
about 20, and she's about 20 years older than Daisy Ridley, and she's very attractive still. Yeah, but she's been around. She was in Honey, I Blew Up the Baby. She played the teenage love interest for Rick Moranis' son.
oh, I
Yeah, I know.
didn't know that.
Yeah, I did. Um, anyways, so yeah, I think Disney know they fucked up here, but unfortunately now this is what they've created, and they have to build lore around it now for the end of time. John Boyega, I can't see him ever going back to Star Wars anytime soon, even though his character is still alive in the Star Wars universe.
See, I would have
Or
liked to have seen like a Poe Dameron movie with John Boyega in it.
oh, sorry, I apologize. Even him as a stormtrooper, they mocked him. What were you? Sanitation. You see what I mean? It's just more mockeries. Like, why can't this guy just be a regular stormtrooper who just had a change of heart and realized that this is not what he wanted to be? Like, oh, sanitation. You just got to put him down. And he says about black people in these films, they're always scared, they're always sweating. It's so true. It's so true, man. You know what I mean? You look at people like fucking Chris Tucker in Fifth Element. He was a screaming black man. You know, They're a penny to a pound, and these stereotypes need to stop, and these sort of things need to change. And then some people have a real issue when things do change. Oh, damn, I'm used to everything being one particular way. God damn it, all this inclusion and stuff like that. Things done right is always is the best way to do it. The right person for the right role.
Oh, I agree. Right, if you get the right person for the right role, I mean, I 100% agree.
This is why I have no problem with Jim Gordon being black in the new Batman, because you look at Jeremy Wright, or was it Jeffrey Wright? Jeffrey Wright or Jeremy Wright? Anyway, you look at him and you think, yeah, that's Jim Gordon. You could also be Lucius Fox at the same time, but you think, yeah, that's also Jim Gordon.
I have no problem with it either. I mean, it didn't even faze me when he showed up in the trailer. I was like, oh yeah, that's Jim Gordon.
Exactly.
Because I think Megan was like, who's that? And I said, oh, it's Jim Gordon. She's like, oh.
Exactly. Like, and some, you have some people making stupid jokes. Well, maybe a white guy could play could play Black Panther. I'm thinking to myself, that's about as likely as there ever being a Steve Rogers who's black. Very unlikely.
Even though they were considering casting Will Smith.
What, a Steve Rogers?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, if they did, I would have taken it back. But as they didn't.
That's what I'm saying, though. I mean, but here's the thing: Black Panther comes from a deep African nation. Like, you can't have a white person play Black Panther unless they're from, I mean, I know there are white people in like South Africa, but it's like it's in a deep part of the African continent where you don't really have like white people like natural, they didn't develop. Evolutionary wise. Yeah. So it's like it makes no sense for their
ancestral. Black Panther's ancestral. It's been around for centuries.
Yeah, and that's kind of why it's like it makes no sense. And that now, if Wakanda was in like the middle of South America, you might be able to get away with having maybe like a
mixed cast.
A mixed cast, but it's like, it's it just makes no sense for Black Panther to be white. I'm okay with like, the gender or the ethnic swapping and stuff like that. I don't care about that. I mean, I just feel like
I said, if it's done right, I have no problems with any of this shit.
Because then you have Iron Fist, and if they would have made Iron Fist Asian, even though he is an American in the comics, people would have had a fit. And it's like, I wouldn't have really cared. Like, I'm pretty sure that's why we have Shang-Chi. Because they wanted to take a Asian character from the comic books and give an Asian actor the role, so they had to pick a character that was Asian.
Backfire.
What's going to backfire?
Shang-Chi.
Why do you say that?
Because this Asian guy is from America. Yeah, Shang-Chi is American. He might be Asian, that's his race, but his nationality is American. The bad guy is Chinese, the Mandarin.
Well, the Mandarin, yeah.
Yeah, so they want an Asian market, and they're having the Chinese American as the good guy, whilst the Chinese is the bad guy. You see where I'm coming from? It's going to backfire when it comes to the Chinese market, guarantee.
Okay. I mean, I can see that happening.
So but like I said, I've no problem with them changing genders or changing races of particular people, as long as it works. A black Batman. You think that will ever happen?
I think so. There's been so many white Batmans that I think we could. That somebody will eventually come along and be like, "Let's make Batman black," and then they'll be like, "Okay."
I tell you what won't happen is a black Alfred.
You don't think so?
No way. What, a fucking butler, a black butler for the white rich man, please.
Oh yeah, that's probably a good point. I didn't think of it that way.
And then the idea of this black guy raising this kid, this person as a kid, can you imagine society ever accepting that? I mean, it's becoming more common now. There are black people who have adopted white children, but I can't imagine it back then. So if Bruce Wayne was an adult now, I can't imagine it when he was younger. That would be accepted by society, or not society, but like basically whoever does the adoption would never let a fucking butler look after a black butler, that is, look after a billionaire's kid. They're too fucking racist for that.
No, you know who I think would be an awesome Alfred though if they did do that? Mm-hmm. Carlo Esposito. He could make I think if they did a black butler, I think that Carlo Esposito would be an amazing Alfred.
what could he be as well? I think Carlos Esposito could be a great penguin.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe in the Nolan verse.
Like
I could
we're
see that.
talking, maybe like recently, Penguin's been adapted differently. He's less of a and less of a waddling fucker, you know. And
Yeah, but have you seen him in the Batman trailer? He looks exactly like I mean, yeah, he's not like really short and fat, but he's still got like the longer nose, and
he's got that sort of Dick Tracy villain face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know what you mean. I know it's interesting because I thought he would be a little bit more suave, but I think there is a bit. Oh, you know, Ra's al Ghul, maybe Carlo Esposito.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see Carlo Esposito playing a Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, but at the same time, you want. See, for me, if you're going to play somebody who does martial arts, then you got to know martial arts.
Yeah,
that's one of the good things about Chadwick Boseman. That's a good thing about Chadwick Boseman. He's a martial artist.
Really?
So
I didn't know he was a martial artist.
What's his name? The director. What's the name of the director of Black Panther?
Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler. Sorry. Yeah, he mentioned it in one of the Black Panther videos, saying that he was an athlete and a martial artist. So
nice. All right, you ready to wrap?
Mm-hmm.
You and your economically safe lighter.
Yeah, I'm too scared to touch those electric beams, though. I don't know how much volt I would get up my ass. You know what I mean? But I love it, though. I love it to bits. You know, but it does scare me, though. Like, this is fire. Doesn't scare me one bit. But this frightens me. You know, I can extend the neck of it as well. It's pretty cool. So barbecues. It's really cool, man. And also, the wind will never put this out. Yeah. So it scares me, though. I'm worried I'll get electrocuted or something. I don't know.
Well, that's the risk you take.
That's the risk I take.
All right, you ready to wrap?
Yes. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. Don't forget to subscribe to Nerd Nation on Facebook as well as on YouTube. And don't forget to share us as well on all forms of social media, including Twitter.
We have a Twitter.
Bye-bye.